So as we wrap up our preview for this season, 3 games are coming up. Home game versus Utah, road game versus Kansas, and a final home game versus Oklahoma State. We're going to dive into Utah because this is the team that a lot of experts are picking to win the Big 12. And if the Buffs can knock them off, that's just in the trajectory of where it needs to go. So let's dive into that. This video is presented by our partners over at BetUS. Get 125% up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits when you check them out. Link in the description below as well as in the pinned comment. Let's dive into Utah, man, because this team, pretty good. And the big thing about them is Kyle Whittingham has been there for a while. He's done a fantastic job building that program up. And one thing that we do know, 2 things travel. Run games, defense. And Whittingham is infamous for his defense, but there's questions about the running back. So let's take a look at them, get an understanding of who they are in preparation for that game. I mean, it's in November 16th, but we're going to just do an early preview and then we'll dive into it close to that week. Let's take a look. So Utah's rolling in here as an overall rating at about 40. Offense is 81. Defense 13th. So got some pretty solid ratings coming from last season. Returning production, though, it's above in the top 50, right? They're 43 with 66% of their production returning back, with 63% on offense and 69% on defense. Whittingham has done a good job, and ESPN's FPI has them sitting at number 27 in the country. So this is one that the Buffs really going to have a challenge. Remember, now I know Colorado's ranked decently in FPI 36, but of course Utah 27. That's a big difference, but there's more to it, right? This game to me is going to be the challenge of Colorado's defense trying to quiet down this Utah offense. Last season, we saw what Colorado could do against Utah. And the good thing for them was, didn't even have Shadur in that game. That was the game that Ryan went out and played. Lost the game 23-17. So the game was a lot closer. I mean, at the half, it was 13-10. So Colorado showed a better trajectory in that game than anticipated. And Ryan Staub did well in that one. He finished that game 17 for 24, 195, and a touchdown. But for Utah, they're getting something more. They're getting back their quarterback, Cam Rising. Let's look at their offense and who those weapons are, because they actually brought in some wide receivers that I've got questions about. And if the Colorado secondary shows up, we ain't got nothing to worry about. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is presented by our partners over there at BetUS. Make sure you check them out. Link is in the description below. They're giving you 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. So they're trying to make sure that you're going to have yourself a good time. So like there's one bet here that I've been looking at that you got to check out. First game of the season's coming up. We've got Colorado going up against North Dakota State. Spread is at 9.5. Which is a minus 115. So it's definitely one bet I'm going to take advantage of. So I think this is going to be a win. I feel like Colorado should cover this spread. Money line is sitting at minus 340. So I think the money line should hit because I expect Colorado to go out there and win this game. So you can check them out here on BetUS. Use our link in the description below. If you make a deposit, they're giving you 125% up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits, helping you out, as well as they'll give you back 10% of your net losses twice a year. So yeah, they're taking care of you and making sure that you are happy with the services. They give you 24/7, 365 personalized service and all of that. So check them out in the link description below. BetUS. Now, Utah is bringing back some players that, of course, like I said, could be of concern. They've also got some new guys. So, like, one of the big ones here is, of course, Cam Rising. Now, Whittingham mentioned that Rising has been practicing all spring. Looks like he's been good here in the fall. 7th year senior. 7th year senior. Whew. That's a long time. And he's moved around. Texas, Utah. I mean, I know that he has a lot of beef with Lincoln Riley over there at USC. Thought that's super interesting, but he's back. And the way it looks, he's expected to be his old self, in his old self, he was out there cooking USC. God, he was giving them the blues. And so we're expecting him to be back and playing in this time because we didn't see him last year. And that's probably one of the biggest problems for Colorado is dealing with Cam. Now, outside of that, in the run game, they got Micah Bernard, he's a 6-year senior, so they've got a lot of age there. But he's played a lot of both sides of the ball. Really only like 1,200 yards in his career, but he's averaged like 5 yards a carry. But they do bring back the backup running back, which is Glover. Now, mention Glover because he ran 400 yards against Colorado last year, right? I think he had like 107 yards in that game. And so since he actually had a good game, going to have questions there, right? So Jalen Glover as well as Bernard's going to be their two running backs, but everything's running through Cam Rising. And the question is Cam Rising going to make it the entire season? Again, he was hurt last year, the end of the season before, tried to play last season, didn't really get a chance to give it a go. And so now he's fully healthy. He's also 25 years old. So they got a vet at the QB spot. Shedeur is younger, of course, but Shedeur is still a vet. And I think that offensively, Colorado should have a problem, but their defense is going to be legit. We're going to see what this secondary can do to keep secondary and linebackers to keep Cam Rising in place. That's going to be critical for what Colorado does. And because it's a home game, again, running games and defense travel. If Colorado can make sure that their run game does not be effective and they keep Cam Rising bottled up, defense can show out. So let me know what y'all think on that. Hop in the comments. So let's talk about this defense, right? They've got, who's this? Kareem Reed is one of their top returning linebackers, one of the top ones in the conference. Second team All Pac-12 last year, had 67 tackles. He's one to definitely keep in mind. And preseason All Big 12 selection, Junior Tafuna. 17 tackles, 3 tackles and a loss, 1.5 sacks. He was second team All Pac-12 twice. And he was the freshman of the year in 2021. They're expecting him to step up next season in that role. Now, you may think those numbers are pretty low, but the anticipation is now that he's probably got additional components around him. He's going to go out there and cause some problems. And then they've got other young players playing on the defensive side of the ball. One of their star linebackers is out, and he'll be gone probably most of, if not the entire season. And if DeMooney does not play when that game comes up, Colorado, just think about it. By the time they see Colorado, it'll be so far into the season, we don't know what that's going to look like. If he doesn't play, then hey, it's probably a good thing for the Buffs. That means that the run game for Colorado can go out there and get some work in. I sense that in this game, Colorado can pull out the W at the house. That's what's most important, right? The good thing is that they're bringing them to Folsom. And so that's where I think that gives Colorado the advantage. Utah also lost a lot of players, mainly backups, but that means depth, competitive depth, right? So what does Utah have coming in once you get to November? Will their players be ready and developed to go? That's a lot, man. I mean, losing 25 kids and not really having a lot of backups, you don't know. We'll see what their portal players look like coming in. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, they brought in some wide receivers, right? Dorian Singer, who was at Arizona first, transferred to USC last season to play with Caleb Williams. Did not work out. Now he's there at Utah. And then Damian Alford from Syracuse. They bring in a combined 175 catches for like 2,500 yards. They've got some dudes who can catch. So Rising's got a lot from the offensive side of the ball. The question is will that defense travel? Whittingham typically has a defense that travels, but we're still going to have to see if they execute in the end. So tell me what y'all think. Utah's one of the games I really want to talk about. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Want to wrap up. We'll talk Kansas. We'll talk Oklahoma State early next week, and that will close it out. And then we'll do a final preview of North Dakota State going into that game Thursday, which I'm excited because that means football is back, baby. That's what we want to see. All right. Of course, y'all know the deal. Y'all can check out any of the videos that we have. We've got, of course, playlists as well as the most recent. Check it out here with all the previews and stuff. Subscribe to the channel. We got some interviews with some experts. Got some intel that y'all are going to want to hear. So make sure y'all turn on that bell notification after you subscribe to hear what we're talking about. We'll talk soon.